Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Scorpio is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your reading. Please hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. It's totally free. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. If there's anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Scorpio, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. Seven of Swords. I feel that there's a problem that we're trying to figure out. I feel as if you're looking for a solution. You're looking for a kind of straight and narrow path to something. But every time we start to feel like we're closing in on the answer, other data comes in, other answers present themselves. Now we start thinking, gosh, maybe the solution's over here, right? So I feel as if we need a kind of, we need a breakthrough. We need like an aha moment. We need something that's going to give us the certainty about this so that even when these other little smaller swords start poking around, we don't even notice them, right? Let's put this into some context. Let's see really what's going on here. Oh God, look at that, Ace of Swords. I can't make this stuff up. That's what we need. That's the clarity, right? That's the clarity. That's not necessarily the answer, though, and we'll get to that, my views on the Ace of Swords there. Oh, Six of Swords. See, now this is the perfect plan. This is the beautiful mind. This is the organization that we want. And that is something that you are kind of working on, something that has kind of physical a physical aspect to it, some sort of mechanical building of something, the business growth of something, some kind of physical practices, some kind of a schematic that then is going to have to be implemented into the hardware, right? Hardware, kind of software, if you will. And look at that. Man, this is good. This is a good one. Again, software and hardware. Okay, but we need that breakthrough. We need that clarity so that we can take this blueprint and this schematic, all the code, and we can really implement it into the physical world, all right? And we've got some water, Five of Cups. Oh, we've got first major arcana card, the luster strength card, the passion, the enthusiasm, the drive, the magic of this. The Princess of Cups, the fish and the percolator, and, oh, the Lover's card. Very nice. This is something that, just based on the major arcana cards, this is something that you feel magic. I mean, maybe you are like an engineer or you do some sort of computer coding or something. That's me on a keyboard. And I feel like it really, you love it. Whatever it is that you're doing, you get so wrapped up in it. It feels just like magic. It feels like you're just in some kind of crazy like movie, or it's so passionate and you get so enthusiastic about it because it really is what you're meant to do. And you could think of nothing else in the world that could be this exciting, right, than this work that you do. I mean, that is really where your passion lies. And this card really, really says it all. And it's in the position of the environment. So I wonder if there's maybe an issue there, if we're frustrated with this blockage, that we're starting to think, this isn't fun anymore. But if we look at the Lover's energy there, I think you're reuniting with this. This is you finding the answer and marrying it all together. Now, it's the Lover's card, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a romantic relationship between you and somebody else. It could. Maybe that's part of what you're doing here, right? Maybe you're trying to kind of, program this thing properly so that the two of you can come together. Maybe it is a plan that you're trying to organize. You're trying to figure this stuff out so that you can make it happen in the earth energy, right? This is all the kind of mental planning, figuring out the problems, debugging everything, and then, implementing this into the physical world. So it very much could be a romantic relationship. It could literally be, computer programming, right? It could be anything, all sorts of things, right? But it's something for which you feel very passionate about. And you feel while you're doing this, like just this work of sorting it out and debugging it and programming it and then implementing it into the physical world, that process is a magical process for you, okay? And I think at the end, you're going to unite. You're going to really, this thing's going to come together, and you're going to like marry these two things together, and it's going to work perfectly, right? That's what we've got with the Lover's card. It's the choice and the commitment to see this through until that union. It could be with you and maybe there's a long distance relationship, okay? For some of you, I think it is. I'm kind of feeling that, and this is really trying to sort out how we make it happen. This is it happening. This is how it happens. This is us figuring it out, figuring out how it happens. And then at the end, well, we've got that union, right? But this could be anything. It doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. For some of you, I think it is. For others, it's definitely not. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card before I forget about it, which I sometimes do. Okay, we're going to use that one. Mr. Ed, little horse right on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end. But it will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any point during the reading you feel like you know what that card is or you have a hunch, put that hunch down in the comments. All right, let's do it together. Let's make it an interactive exercise of intuition. All right. Let's look around the room one more time. So we've got two major arcana cards. We don't have any fire, but you've got enough of that in your spirit, right? Because the major arcana represents the spiritual energy that are in the picture right now, right? And that's really, this is a lot of creative fire, a lot of spiritual energy that you've got, right? And it really is being applied to your environment, and which is figuring this thing out. Okay, so we've got fire taken care of. We've got a little bit of water here and here. So I think that there is part of you that is maybe starting to feel a little bit of insecurity or a little bit of disappointment or doubt that this seems like it's so difficult to implement, right? We have air, we've got earth. Yeah. And so we've got the fire. Now I always say I always talk about fire and earth, right? That kind of instant act of creation, from fire to earth, from heaven to earth, from above to below, impulse to behavior, inspiration to implementation, will to action, right? Fire to earth. That is, it's kind of like, in this case, it's saying where there's a will, there's a way, all right? Everything in between is the human part of it, right? That's a divine, magical act from fire to earth, from heaven to earth, right? It's the thinking and the feeling that sometimes get in the way of that. Our heart and our mind can either be as perfect conductors, right, to that fire energy, or it's going to be a resistor, and it's going to interfere with that flow of creation, okay? And I feel right now that the mental aspect of this is what we've got. We're trying to harmonize our thoughts, plans, the kind of intellectual details, our mind, so that this creative fire we have here, this spiritual fire, can manifest in the earth energy, and we can have our success. Okay? So it really is a focus on the mind part of it. The heart part is there too. I think your heart is, because again, fire to earth, it's the heart and the mind that either is a resistor or a conductor of that spiritual electricity, right? I think your heart is still conducive to it. Your heart is still there. I think with the 5 here, the 5 is just representing that there might be a little tiny bit of doubt or disappointment creeping in. It's not changing the way you feel about what you're doing. It's just kind of, I almost feel like it's a little bit of a self-esteem thing. You know, when we try and try to do something and it just can't seem to figure it out, we start getting kind of frustrated with ourselves, right? We still care about this 100, 1,000%. But sometimes maybe we've got to step away for a moment or two and let ourselves calm down and get out of this frustrated energy and then go back to the problem and keep working the problem, right? Because the issue here is the finding how to harmonize our mind in such a way that our mind can be the perfect conductor of this spiritual electricity, right? And that's what we see here, because it's this air energy that once we harmonize this, then this fire energy can go straight to earth and manifest. We get our big win, right? So like I said about the 7 of Swords, there is some sort of interference, there's some sort of static going on where we're trying to work this problem and we think we start getting close and then something else kind of happens. There are other details that come in, other facts are presented to us, or other solutions come to mind and we think, well, maybe the answer's down there, you know. We're looking through all the code and we go down one rabbit hole, and then there's my cat here she doesn't come down here too often anymore. Let's see if she wants to come say hi. TT, where'd you go? I hear you, but I don't see you. Well, I don't know where she ran off to now. Anyway, she'll be back. The 7 of Swords. It feels like we start getting close and then something else kind of draws our attention and we think, well, maybe the answer's down that way. There's always something that kind of pokes holes in our solution, right? We think we've solved the equation, and then someone else, the math teacher comes by and says, you made all these mistakes. That's not right. Or we try to run the program and we realize that we've put more bugs into the system than we've taken out. So it's kind of like back to the drawing board, you know. I feel like that solution is coming. And that really is represented by the Ace of Swords. Now, the Ace of Swords isn't the answer itself. This is the mental clarity that will allow the answer to come from within you, right? To be revealed to you. When your mind is absolutely clear, the only thing left is the answer, okay? So the Ace of Swords isn't an answer. It's mental clarity. It is not worrying about the answer. It is not trying to figure out the answer. It is comfortable with not knowing. It's kind of like you've got to empty your mind to then, for the answer to reveal itself, okay? So this is a lot of kind of mental tranquility. I don't know if you meditate or if there's some other way that you kind of clear your head. That's kind of what this card is, because I look at this card not as the rays of the crown are extending outwards. I feel like these are all rays of light that are coming in, right? I look at them as coming in, like this is an antenna. And our antenna isn't going to work very well when when it's frayed, when there are too many antennas around and it's kind of got some interference, when it's receiving too many different signals. So the only way to really receive this info, this answer, is to put all our power into one antenna and get rid of all the interference. So this is maybe, in a practical way, removing distractions from your life. Maybe it is taking a break from the problem for a little while to just kind of relax, clear your head, I feel like something broke recently. I feel something fell down from like a bookcase or something. Maybe if it was a vase or some sort of ceramic thing or porcelain thing. I feel like something broke, and I feel like you started gluing it back together or something. I'm seeing something like that's in pieces, and then you're putting it back together. And I don't know if that Is that something people do as like a relaxing kind of, crafting thing? Or if this is representing maybe something that you do as like as an art project, right? Taking broken things and kind of putting them back together. But I feel like something literally broke in your house recently. And it's something that it needs to be glued back together, or you have glued it back together, or you will be gluing it back together. Sometimes these details come to me. I'm not sure exactly how they relate or who they're meant for. If it's meant for you, there you go. If it's not, don't worry about it. Save it for the next person. A lot of the time, these kind of details come in to validate some of the energy that we're in and to offer some synchronicities for some of you out there. Okay. The Six of Swords is really what we're after. This is that harmony, right? This is us with that clear mind that receives the answer. Now we know exactly how to build this thing out. We know exactly, it's kind of, the ace kind of expands into the six. That clarity brings the answer, and the answer looks like this when it's all fleshed out. And it might even come to you in kind of a flash. It might just be like one thing, and maybe it's the broken vase. One kind of random event, object, symbol, a word, a picture, a sound, right, will trigger something. And it will be that answer that you then, and there's a name for that. It's like creative problem solving or something like this. But it is, it's when there's just kind of a random thing that sparks something, and that becomes the Six of Swords. It becomes the full answer, right? The solution written out. Yeah. But what sparks that could be something random, a dog barking, right? A leaf that falls into your hand or something. Yeah. And I feel that's kind of what's going on here. Now, I feel like we can't really get to that when we're trying so hard to solve the problem. The problem's not going to come to us. So we either clear our mind and let that kind of creative answer come to us, or we just keep doing the math and erasing our solution and trying again, right? I do feel like you have a lot of supportive people around you. I feel like you have either, a strong friend group or family situation that's very supportive of what you're doing. I also wonder, did somebody ask you for money recently? I kind of feel that maybe that's one of these kind of distractions. But I feel like somebody's asked you for money. And just, I don't know why that's coming through, but be careful with who you're giving money to and who's asking and why they're asking. Okay? Thank you. Let's talk about the earth energy now. We've got the idea with the swords, but let's talk about the earth. Because the Nine of Pentacles is all about gain. I think that this is, in some ways, this is the resources that you're working with. I feel like this is the potential for this situation. There's a lot to be, gained from this situation, right? I think that you've already done a lot of work in this situation. Now, I don't think it's like programming something or building an app or something like that. It could be. But I feel like this is kind of a more broad project or situation in your life that you're trying to manifest. I think you've already made a lot of progress with it. I think that you've seen a lot of success, but then it could be that there's just the last step, right? Getting all the last minute kinks worked out so that it can really come together in that Lover's card at the end. That's where we're finding the difficulty. But I feel like this card is saying, look at all the success you've already had. Look how far you have already come. Look how much you have already gained through this experience and throughout your life. I feel like you've had a near-death experience. Yeah. I almost wonder if you were very, I don't think it was an illness. I think it was more of like an accident or something, something that's just kind of like an injury. Not like an internal illness, but like an injury that happens to you. And I feel like it was very serious, but you made what some people might say even a miraculous recovery. Right? Sometimes the Nine of Pentacles is talking about that. It's not all about just kind of money and progress and kind of forward. Sometimes this is talking about the progress that we have already made, the things that you have already overcome, that I think is really kind of built into who you are and is very important to who you are right now. I feel like there's a scar. I think that you have. I kind of feel like they had to put metal or pins or something, screws in some of your joints, because I feel something in the elbows. Yeah. So I feel like you still have kind of almost like a daily reminder, right, of that situation. And the message I'm getting is to let that empower you. Let that remind you how strong you are and how much you can accomplish. Okay? 4 of Pentacles up here. The 4 of Pentacles is, I feel like it's your life as it is now, and something is changing. Okay? And in this case, I don't feel as if you are resisting change. Sometimes we get the 4 and we think, that's somebody that's kind of like locked up in their castle, and they don't want things to change. They're trying not to adapt with the world. They just want things to stay how they are and never change. I don't feel like that's you. I think that you know that this is a temporary situation that you're in now, and that there's so much more to unfold in your life. Okay? Could be that you're in a living situation now that is a kind of a temporary thing. Your forever home is still, it's what you're trying to work out, right? Or this forever relationship, or this, maybe you're moving, maybe this is a career thing, maybe it's something more family oriented, maybe it's something more spiritually oriented. But where you are now is a kind of a temporary, stable place that needs to change, right? And a lot of the time we see the 4 of Pentacles and I think someone's resisting that change. That things need to change, but for whatever reason you're trying to fight it. I don't think you're trying to fight it, because we've got the 3 of Pentacles too. And this is understanding the process of change. So in the kind of, in the world of the hardware, we have software, we've got hardware. In the mechanical world, you understand how things work. You understand that just kind of natural physical laws, right? You understand like the conservation of energy. You understand that all about, inertia and momentum. Objects at rest will stay at rest until acted upon by some force, right? And that's what this 4 is. Some force is going to change this, whether it's a force coming from outside or a force coming from within you. This 4 is temporary. And you understand the process, and I think what we're trying to do is we're trying to be the force that nudges change in the right direction, rather than just kind of waiting for things to happen around us and cause the change, right? So we're trying to figure out how to implement our will, how to get this plan, how to get this software running in the hardware to get the outcome that we want, okay? Otherwise, 5 of Cups, change happens to us, and we don't, it's like we're in our castle, and here comes the storm, and we're not doing anything about it. Rather than us being the one that changes the situation, not the situation changing us. Yeah. We're going to move to the path of the serpent now. It's getting late. But as I do this, I'd like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Totally free. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. And it helps out the channel, and I really do appreciate that. And I appreciate all of you. The 5 of Cups, like I was saying, is, change happens, and if we're not a part of it, if we're not in harmony with it, we may understand how change happens, but if we don't put in our own effort to change it in the right direction, then we're just at the mercy of the weather, right? And that's the 5 of Cups. We don't know if it's going to be a nice, happy wave of water or a really destructive wave of water. So we do what we can. We either prepare and hunker down, or we get our stuff and we go. So I think the situation you're in now, whether it's family, career, if it's something spiritual, if it's a living situation, job situation, I feel like it's temporary. I feel like it's stable, but it's not going to last very long. So you're trying to implement this plan, sort out the plan and find the solution to get to where you really, what is going to be forever, to get to that place that is going to be lasting for you. So you're doing all the right things. I feel like you really, really are. and that's really in large part because of the lust or strength card. You feel so passionately about this. It's kind of like it's easy to commit yourself and devote yourself to this hard work if you really feel it, if you really love it, if you really have this enthusiasm, if you're filled with that spiritual activation. These kinds of situations are maybe not fun, but you couldn't see it any other way, right? And I think you have that. And I think that this is you understanding that fire to earth manifestation that I'm talking about. I feel like I've said it to Scorpio often enough that you embody that now you understand how that works, and you're doing it. And that's what you're doing over here. And we just have to get that logic, that mental energy, that psychic energy, to not be the resistor, but to be the conductor of that electricity. And this plan will unfold to your heart's delight. Yeah. And really, I feel like it's the unfolding of a dream. I feel like this is something that you have dreamt about. This is the Princess of Cups. I feel like the next year is really going to be a year of miracles for you. We've got the ace. Sometimes that represents a period of 1 year or 11 months. And I feel like it really is the time for your dream to start taking shape, your dream to start manifesting. And I think we're getting so close to that manifestation with this Lover's card at the end. But see, the Princess of Cups is in the obstacle position. And I think that has to do with the water energy, that sometimes we feel like maybe this is just a dream. Maybe that's why we can't figure out the solution here, because it's a dream. It's not something that is going to have a solution. It's just a fantasy, right? And I think we worry about that. But that's something that's easily overcome by this lust or strength card, because there's this ferociousness that says it's not just a dream. It can be a reality. This is the card that pulls the energy right down from heaven and manifests it. Goes right into the dream world and pulls it straight down to the earth, And so this is you taking your dream and making it a reality. There's no doubt in your mind. There might be a little bit of worry in your heart, but there's no doubt in your mind, right? The Lover's card. This is the end of the road. This is dream come true. This is you uniting with the result here, the object of your passion and your devotion and your attention. This is change that has taken place, and you are right there with it. You are marrying yourself to this. Now, it could be finding your forever home. It could be that true love relationship. It could be finding your perfect career. It could be really getting this business off the ground. I mean, any of these things, right? This is the manifestation of the dream, and you are there in the dream, living it. And this is kind of it's permanent, right? This is a commitment. This is a choice to stay committed to this thing. And it's kind of in some ways, I kind of feel like this is like a happily ever after card. That this is a forever thing for you. It's not a temporary thing like the Four of Pentacles. It's a forever thing. Let's look at the mystery card. I know this reading is getting a little bit long. But what do we want for the mystery card, though? This is going to be tough. I think, I don't know what to think. Maybe just the Death card. Maybe we want the Scorpio power card. I can't think of what else we need. We have everything we need, right? If you have a prediction, put it down in the comments, all right? I want to see what you all come up with. Because I can't imagine what else we need. We could do a fire card, maybe an Ace of Wands. Maybe an Ace of Wands, maybe a 10, 9 or a 10 of Cups or Pentacles would also be nice, right? Let's see what we have. Oh, the Tower. The Tower. Yeah, to me, this is the breakthrough that we need to solve this thing, right? This is perfect. I didn't even think about this. This is what we need to reach the breakthrough and to solve this, to figure out now how the fire gets to Earth. It's the only thing that this is kind of the representation of the process of fire to Earth, right? That's going to bring about the change that we want in our environment. So it is the kind of, I think the Tower is representing that energetic breakthrough, but that mental breakthrough. And it kind of is, again, with the Ace of Swords, clearing your mind, mental clarity, then the breakthrough can happen, right? So we have the beginning, do this and you'll get this. And then everything after is going to be smooth sailing. This is the perfect confirmation card. I didn't even think about this, that breakthrough. Fire to Earth, to have the breakthrough that's going to allow you to change your world according to your will and your dream and your desires and your destiny. And that's the Tower. The Tower is kind of saying that your will, your spiritual force and fire will prevail here. And you will bring about the change in your environment that you're looking for. This is really nice. Now we're going to do an extended reading, Scorpio. If you want to stick around, click on the link that should be up there, but there's also one in the video description. Okay, sometimes the one up here doesn't show up. I don't know why. New readings for Scorpio every Wednesday and Saturday, 6 a.m. Chicago time. I'm here every day. Just come back, see me again tomorrow. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's totally free. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. And leave a comment for me. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. Okay? I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.